Conservative social media app Parler has been banned from the Google Play Store, and Apple is threatening to completely remove the app by Monday. In this video, we're going to review what does that mean for social media censorship, why are they threatening to take it away, and how does this affect us? It's going to be an interesting video. What's been an interesting week of crazy events. Trump getting hard blocked, Trump getting censored, Trump getting banned. I hate to get into politics, but we got to do it. Let's get right into it. Welcome back to Shadow Ban with Bobby Krieger. I'm your host, Bobby, where we talk about everything social media censorship. Now, the way I try to format these videos is by giving you the facts, by showing you exactly what's happening, and then I'll try to interject a little opinion at the end. This is not a political channel. It's going to seem like that because everything surrounding social media censorship right now is just too big to ignore. But we cover everything from hip hop artists to influencers, from celebrities, anyone who is being censored or shadow banned on social media, we cover it and we give a really technical analysis. So if you have any political opinions, feel free to drop them below. Trust me, I understand both sides of this situation. So let's get right into it. Oh, but before we do, make sure to like this video. Helps us out within the algorithm because you can never know. We say a lot of trigger words, quote unquote, meaning these videos get picked up as spam. So it really helps us so we don't get shadow banned. All right, let's look into it. So Google suspends Parler from the App Store, urges tighter content moderation. Now, just a quick backstory. Parler is essentially conservative Twitter. They kind of base themselves as the free speech app, but trust me, plenty of people get banned on Parler. So Google on Friday suspended social media platform Parler from its app store while joining Apple in calling on the platform to tighten its content moderation rules or risk permanent removal. Google said in a statement that it's suspending Parler, an app popular among conservatives that has gained popularity in the recent months over its hands-off approach to content moderation, due to the continued position in the app that it says seeks to incite ongoing violence in the US. In order to protect user safety on Google Play, our long-standing policies require that apps display user-generated content have moderation policies and enforcement that removes irregenious content like spots that incite violence. And as a result of this, what happens? Parler jumps to #1 on the App Store after Facebook and Twitter banned Trump. So the idea is everybody is kind of flocking to download it before Apple supposedly is going to delete it. This is what I saw happening from the very beginning. Now, from the very start, once Trump was banned off Twitter, I said he's just going to move to Parler, and it's going to create a worse environment because he's creating an echo chamber on Parler. Now, whether you agree or disagree, we could all certainly agree that having too much of the one-sided opinion isn't good for anybody, and only the most radical people will jump to Parler, because they're the ones that already are agreeing with everything. So it just creates an echo chamber. It's not good for anyone. You kind of want people out in the open. Now, the libertarian perspective has always been this. So check out this comment from Alex Stapp. He says, now that Trump has been banned on Twitter, he can only get his messages out by using checks notes, newspapers, magazines, books, radio, broadcast TV, cable TV, movies, press conferences, blogs, podcasts, email, text messages, every other social media. So the idea behind Trump being banned on a platform has always been Twitter is a private company. Facebook is a private company. They can do whatever they want. And by kicking Trump off a platform, there will be a demand for a new app, which Trump will move to, which makes complete sense. Trump moves to another platform, and there's a demand for a conservative version of Twitter or a free speech version of whatever, or something that's just marketed as such. It makes complete sense. Well, what do you do when Apple and Google Play cut the demand off right away and they say, no, this cannot exist? You cannot do this without content moderation. Very, very interesting. Now, as a response, some people are saying, hey, what are you going to do if you get banned? A lot of conservatives are saying, what am I going to do if I get banned? He says it doesn't matter because if I have nowhere to go if I get banned on Twitter. Now, some people on the other side are applauding this and they're saying, it's dangerous to have an app that has moderation. They're saying that, the people that are looking for this type of content don't deserve to have a voice, don't deserve to have a platform. So we're seeing applause from both sides, and it's really, really tricky. Now, this is a growing list. So platforms that President Trump has been banned on: Twitter, Google, Spotify, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube, Twitch, Reddit, Shopify, and the Nike sneakers app. Nike, way to take a bold stance. And this is kind of the only opinion that I agree with here. I can't wait till Twitter is 5 people who all agree with each other. Then it will be good. Then at last. And then somebody responded, no, Twitter needs to do the right thing and just delete all of our accounts. That's kind of the only way to free us here. So the important question here is, what exactly does incite violence mean? Because this is all under the premise of inciting violence. And that's the new trigger word that we have to talk about in 2021, inciting violence. Essentially what Twitter, Facebook, Instagram are saying is that Trump is such a threat that it overrules freedom of speech. Now, keep in mind, these are private companies, so this gets a bit tricky, but listen to me here. There's certain things that you can't do. You can't dox somebody or publicly give out someone's information. You can't yell fire in an airport. And the reasons behind this are, there's a view that statistically, there is enough of a chance that will lead to danger. So you could yell fire in an airport and nothing could happen. You could give someone's information out and nothing could happen, or the person whose information you leak could not care. But there is a greater risk that something could happen, so it's worth giving up a little freedom of speech. What Facebook, Twitter, Instagram have said is that Trump essentially falls under the same category. He is such a threat to incite violence that he is not allowed on the platform. Now, my only question to Facebook, Instagram would be, okay, what are the numbers here? For example, if you're yelling fire or you're doxing someone, we could look at the data. We can see how many people have been doxed, how many FBI raids have happened because somebody has been doxed, how many people have been put at stake. We can look at how many people have yelled fire. What exactly is the number, the figure, the data? What is the reference that we're looking at for Donald Trump? Is it number of violence, and how do you statistically link it? And I understand there's people yelling at me right now going, he incited a riot. That's maybe true. But how do you prove and put it and tie it directly? And then how do you correlate it specifically to social media? Because if you're going to limit freedom of speech, I would just at least say, you at least have to argue that. And there has to be merit to the argument. And you have to show and prove to us that you're at least trying to make the argument, because it is a big thing you're doing. You're censoring here. And I think that the people deserve to know the principles behind what's happening, and we deserve transparency. At the very least, Twitter, from a consumer perspective, because you may be saying, Bobby, it's a private company, they can do what they want. From a consumer perspective, your stock is tanking because conservatives and people are fearing that you're limiting freedom of speech, or they're fearing that they're going to be banned and they're going to be censored next. So I think as a consumer company, Twitter at least has a responsibility to say, hey, no, that's not what's happening at all. Trump is simply a risk, and here I can prove it. And just show me what you're proving there. Now, this is going to be a one-off conversation, because when we're talking about social media censorship and we're talking about banning, we're usually talking about a broad spectrum. But it seemed that this is a one-off case. So it's really hard for me to take sides either way, because this could be something that applies only to Trump. This could happen to people everywhere. It's just so hard. So you let me know your comments below. Now, I'm going to make another video today that's going to talk about something that affects everybody. There has been a ban on conservatives and people on the left and the right, simply who have been sharing their opinions. We've seen a ton of people being banned. We're seeing follower counts go down. That's going to be in the next video. You let me know below. Do you think that Parler should stay up in the store? Do you think they should be forced to adopt a new content moderation policy? What do you do? What do you do if you're Parler here and you want to be the free speech app and Apple says no? Is there a secret motive for Apple? Interesting stuff. Please make sure to like this video once again, because, you never know what could happen to us in the algorithm. It really, really helps us. Thanks for sticking around. It's going to be a big week. We got some other cool stories, not about politics. So stick around. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.